What's up, party people? Today we got something special for you guys. That's right, you heard. Pew, pew, pew. Hi, my name is Jaira.
I'm Dinda.
She's Dinda. And today, lawyer by day, right? Rapper by night.
Correct.
We have Simba Mak with us. Screen shake. Tell the people something. Tell them something today. I don't know. What you reckon that someone needs to hear right now? I'm just gonna put you on the spot.
You need to stick around. Stick around. We might exchange some useful information to help each other. I think. I hope so. Depends on the question. So the pressure's really on them. Like,
yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it now.
If you ask the right questions, you might get the right answers. You know? So right now the onus is on you. Then it might shift to me, but we'll see how.
Not wrong. Anyways, yeah, man. Like, so how you been? Like, from what I mean, we've been hearing, we've been talking off camera, and you've been saying that you're actually on leave, but
yeah. So I'm definitely blessed. I'm black. Highly favored and flavored.
Come on.
I'm on leave, but I can't seem to leave my computer alone, so that's all good. I'm enjoying life, man. It's just living that sort of just having that balance, that equilibrium in life, It's keeping the mind like activated and stuff, and it, it feeds from an academic standpoint into like the creative side as well, which is also quasi-academic as well, as much as it is expressive. So it's a beautiful thing. It's actually cool. It's nice to rock up to work dressed like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty
Facts.
Cool. I mean, you rocked up to church in this too.
Yeah.
We don't play, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not waiting for traffic lights to tell us to stop. We come ready ready.
That's it.
It's a vibe.
Love it.
Okay.
It's a vibe. At least you guys receive me like this,
No,
yeah.
we love it. You come as you are, right?
Yeah.
Preach.
So Mr. Simba Mak here put on a performance on Sunday for our 25th anniversary for Zion Church, right?
Yeah.
I gotta be taking it back to the old school. Simba Mak in the flesh, complimenting that tofu. Rhymes so edible, you should call them home food. Plus I got that rap flavor like your mama's soul food. But assume that's just ready for all occasions. Shine like a runner that's surrounded by Caucasians. Taking over like Chinatown in every nation. I'm a breath of fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
And listening to your lyrics, man, you got some flow there. That's
Really?
for sure. Oh,
Thank
you got
man.
flow.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Props. Repeat that. Say it again.
You got flow,
I
brother.
don't think they got that on the,
He's got flow,
sound
guys.
desk,
He's
yeah,
got flow.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. Like,
And then I think through that you expressed a bit about yourself and your story.
yes, sir.
And you
Yes,
talked
sir.
a lot about how you came from Africa. Was it Zimbabwe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zimbabwe.
Yep.
That's right.
And you were telling us just then you came here to Perth
Yeah.
by yourself.
Most isolated city in the world.
That's right.
Who does
Yeah.
that?
Simba Mak.
Just weirdos. Man.
So what brought you to Perth? And I just want to know who you stayed with, because did you come here like absolutely nobody, or did you have some relatives here in Perth?
Okay, so do you want like an origin story, like from Zim to Perth to?
Yeah, let's just
start
hear
from
it.
there, take
Yeah,
it
let's
from-
just do
okay.
it. Yeah.
So so my granddad, he was the chief, so he had like 16 wives and 85 children. I always say to people, man,
Wow.
if he was a praying man, like Bible dude or whatever, he would have opened like the first few chapters of Genesis, probably stopped at the part where it said "Be fruitful and multiply," and just shut the Bible. Like facts, like he just went.
He just
in.
liked it, and
He went in, but it's obviously like a cultural dynamic as well, right? So it made sense, like culturally, like if you could provide for your family,
Yeah.
of that size, of that magnitude, it was encouraged, and they'd also buy in or invest in the business, whatever it was, whether it was agricultural or otherwise or whatever, So you wouldn't have to necessarily pay for labor externally; it would just be
Yeah.
in-house anyway. So it made sense at the time. Morally, obviously, it is what it is, but obviously we evolve with time, and from my point of view anyway, from our cultural point of view, we had our own gods and our belief system. Is only when colonization happened and the missionaries came and they introduced Christianity and the rest of it, we adopted a lot of like the Bible sort of teachings and the rest of it. But prior to that, people just, getting it in. You know what I'm saying? Being fruitful and multiplying. So, my dad was, one of those many children. And I guess, look, the older I get, I understand and I appreciate his worldview and his perspective based on what he was born into.
Yeah.
Right? Which informed a lot of decisions I'd imagine that he made growing up. And I guess, sometimes without having someone to sort of guide you in, I guess, a reformed way of living or different perspective, you tend to just do whatever you've seen, whatever you've been taught, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of replicated my grandfather's sort of lifestyle, just in the wrong time period, the wrong season culturally, and morally as well. And yeah, he had his few wives. My mom was wife number 3. She didn't know it at the time. She thought she was the first one. Well, we all do. And then we found out that wasn't the case. And when I was about 6, things started getting a bit tumultuous in the household. Dad was very physically abusive towards mom, towards us, and stuff like that. And grew up watching that. And I was the eldest of the 3 of us. I got 2 younger brothers. So growing up, seeing all of that kind of stuff really, it does something to you as a child. But culturally as well, we come from a place where they say, as a child, you're supposed to be seen but not heard. So there's a lot of stuff like I would have internalized as a child and not necessarily communicated or expressed. And even to this day, it's stuff I'm still grappling with and trying to understand why I see things or interpret things or act or react certain ways, because of all that traumatic upbringing, which was just never dealt with, right? And then so when that happened, Dad was a banker. He was killing it. Mom was, she just finished a secretarial course, and she was a receptionist at the time, right? And so Dad was the primary breadwinner. Zimbabwe is a very patriarchal society, so it's very male-focused, male-dominated, and the women tend to be very subservient. Maybe not so much now, but just generally and traditionally, that's the way it is. And then what then happened was when I was about 8, my dad committed fraud. So he stole money from the bank that he worked for, and then he got caught and he went to prison. But then slightly before that, him and mom had separated, so we're starting to live with mom. And dad kind of disowned us, like, and said, okay, fine, to mom, like, if you want to take the kids, let's see how you're going to do, right? So like I said, it's off the, on the backdrop of Zim being, a patriarchal society. So for a woman even to just thrive off her own merit is very difficult without getting a cosign from a man, right?
Yeah.
And that's the world generally anyway, right? But more so, it's very intrinsically like formed within. It's kind of like baked into our culture almost, right? So when you see a woman thriving outside of like that man's sort of cosign, it's such a rare thing. And then it's even more amazing when you can see a single mom in the situation my mother was in, raising 3 young men, with the only qualification being a secretarial course at the time. And mind you, I was going to the same school as the president's kid. I was going to a private school, right?
Yeah.
Literally, my school was next door to the state house, the president's crib, right? So now mom's left with all of these responsibilities. And I remember when I was 10, she sat me down and she said, "My son, listen, I can't give you the fancy clothes your friends have, the cars that get dropped off in, the fancy lunches or whatever, but what I can do is offer you the best possible education, try to keep you in those schools.
Yeah.
What you do with that is of your own volition. It's up to you. You make the most of those opportunities that you have. And just bear in mind from this point onwards, this is a single parent household.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be like the other kids. So you're going to have to work 3, 4 times, 5 times harder to get access to a lot of things that they had." So very early on, like my mom had sort of put that in my head.
Yeah.
So I started doing even like my homework from school, like weeks ahead, I just knew I was behind everybody else. So I had to find sort of like hacks to just try to keep up.
Yeah.
And it didn't help. I was like also in the top stream as well and dealing with all of this stuff. And then when my dad got arrested, that stuff was in the news and all that kind of stuff. So people knew about
Wow.
it. So then I internalized that shame again. So first the trauma from the physical abuse, then to dad committing fraud and us going from being comfortable to being very poor, but still living amongst very wealthy people. Yeah. And trying to just keep up with the Joneses in that sense, right? And yeah, man, it was a crazy childhood. Like, and kids are so honest about certain things. So like they would come up and ask like very tough questions, like, and where I come from as well, like your last name is what you're known by. So when I said my last name, which is Makoni, right? So Mac for short, Simba Mak, but Makoni is my last name. So like prize giving, I'd get prizes and stuff like that, and parents would always want to know like who's that kid, and they'd be like, that's Simba Makoni, and then they'd be like, oh, which Makoni, right? And they want to know who your father is, and I always used to avoid those conversations because I didn't want to relive that shame of having to explain or reveal to people like, oh, that's the kid whose dad's in prison, right? So just grew up with that. So my mom was very intentional about making sure we went to church because with my dad being in absentia, not being present in the household, and not having like a very constant male presence, the only introduction I kind of had to that was God, right? So through church, so Sunday school, we'd go to church like even during the week, man. My mom would go for like choir practice and stuff like that. And I was super clingy anyway, so like I just go with her wherever. Even the hairdressers, I just hang with her or whatever. Like, you know, I didn't have a life. Not that anything's changed. Still the same. But so yes, you know, pretty much grew up around that kind of setting and just applied myself academically and did really well in school. And then when I was about 16, fell in love with a girl who happened to be the Prime Minister's daughter. And then she left Zim to come to Perth, and I was like shattered, right? I was like, Jesus wept.
Damn.
I was like, man, it was crazy. Like I don't think I'd ever felt like that before, like that level of loss. And I think like that was God's way of saying, okay, this is how I'm gonna motivate you to leave, because there was no way I was gonna leave my mom, you know. Like, but then my mom's like, well,
especially you're the eldest.
Facts.
Being the eldest is like,
and it's a weird responsibility. So like, and also like we didn't have that kind of money for me to go overseas anyway. So naturally I would have been just disheartened by that fact alone, right?
Yeah.
But then it's funny what love can do, I guess, you know, and as a motivator and stuff. So I was so determined to be with her, and she was in Perth, and I was like, I justified in my head, and I was like, but you know, Mom, I could actually go there and make a living and start helping to support you and my little brothers and get them to go to university and stuff like that, so you don't have to carry that burden, right? That was the plan since I was 10. Let's do that. So Mom's like, okay, whatever. So anyway, I wrote a letter to 10 of the wealthiest businessmen I knew back home. Went for interviews with all of them. They all gave their version of no. Too expensive. Look at the socioeconomic situation here in Zim. Can't afford it. We've got kids overseas. You know, in Australia, we're going to move them to Malaysia now because we can't afford it anymore. You know, like all these stories. So all these no's I was getting. But I had this guy called Pastor Brian. Who he used to lead like youth group and stuff, right? And he was like, listen, we're gonna pray and fast over you going overseas, right? And I was like, okay. And I was like a mad believer at that time. Like I'd given my life to the Lord and stuff. So I was like pretty my faith was on 10, on 100 actually. And so we'd go every Friday night just to pray, and we'd fast throughout the week for it and stuff. And the last guy I went to see made me sit in his reception for like 2 hours, right? But I had no other place to go after that, so I was like, I'm just gonna stick around. And then he made me wait, and then invited me into his office, and he asked me, okay, so what do you want? Then I think I was maybe 7 minutes into my pitch, and he was like, so you want to be president of Zimbabwe one day? I was like, yes, I do, sir. And he's like, I believe you. I'm going to pay for your first semester so you can at least get a visa to get into Australia. And then the rest is up to you.
Wow.
So that's the story.
Wow.
Then my mom sold her car to pay for my plane ticket, and then gave me the leftover money after paying for the plane ticket for me to start out here. And then that's how I ended up in Perth, 22nd of February 2004.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So that's how I ended up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gives a bit of context to the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's so cool,
That
dude.
is pretty crazy, man.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. But it's the kind of stuff that also keeps you like super grounded, right?
Yeah.
Because now, like, if you understand my story and the trajectory of my life from the lineage going all the way back to my grandfather, right? To where I'm at now, like, one, this is intentional, but two, this wasn't part of like a well orchestrated man-made plan. This is like Drizzy would say, God's plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Come on.
I just happen to associate myself with the
Yeah.
ruling authorities or the ruling parties at the time, you know, who's the Most High, no lie. So
Yeah.
and that's put me in my position. So for me, I've deliberately lived a life of faith like throughout my life, because I never had like guaranteed resources in life, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I've relied on like just the benevolence or the kindness of people, you know, that will come in at the right time, right place or whatever. Like, you're gonna freak out when I tell you how I got my first job. Like, that's another crazy story. Well, you know, if we get to it, we get to
Yeah,
it. But
okay. Yeah. Let's get to it now.
oh dang. Okay, so
Teasing
that's
us. man.
crazy. All right, so what happened was like, okay, so I only had my first semester covered for uni, right?
Yeah.
So when I got here, I think I started in like week 6, because I had to go get all these medical tests, whatever, and we're trying to sell the car to pay for my plane ticket, right, to get here in the first place. So when I arrived here, like the uni didn't even know if I was gonna come anymore. So I didn't have accommodation or anything. No one picked me up from the airport or whatever. So there was just this random chick that was there. So my mom had given me like just a little bit of money, and she's like, son, this is what you have between you and poverty. If you lose this money, like that's it. I don't have anything to give to you. So don't talk to anybody. Like just get on the plane, mind your own business, and just get there, right? And go find a bank as soon as you get there and, you know, deposit the money. So like, all right, cool. So there was this one chick from Zim, right? So we left the Zim airport together via South Africa, with South Africa for a little bit. And we're just staring at each other, right? And I was just like, Mom said, don't talk to anybody. So I was like, all right, cool. And then when we got to Perth, we landed like at the same time, obviously. And she was there waiting to get picked up. And she's looking at me and she's like, dude, what are you doing here? Because she'd been here for a while and she knew it was week 5. So she's like, my guy, you look lost. Do you know where you're going? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to Murdoch Uni. And she's like, oh, that's great. So who's picking you up? I was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, do you want to come with me? And I was thinking, my mom's like, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot, you know, but I didn't have options, right? So I was like, okay, cool. So she's like, well, I'm at Murdoch as well. I'm studying law. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool. I'm studying law too. Okay, this is sick. And she's like, okay, come. I'll take you, you know, to the uni and we'll work it out from there. So got to the uni, went to student accommodation. They didn't have my name there anymore. And they're like, we're so sorry. Like, we don't even, it's like Jesus, didn't have any room in the inn. And then, so what they said to me was like, look, do you know any friends you could stay with whilst we try and work this out for you? And then she was like, nah, you can come and stay with me. So I stayed with her for like about 2-3 weeks whilst uni was trying to sort out everything, right? So that was it. So after my first semester, I was supposed to have a job by then. And being the procrastinator I am, I hadn't done that. And I was fast running out of money. And the uni was now like, okay, we need our money for semester 2. And if you don't pay up, we have to let immigration know and you're going to get deported, right? And that was like the worst thing ever, because there were even people back home waiting for mom to fail. Like, because they're like, you're a single mom.
Yeah.
How dare
crazy.
you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who do you think you are? Like, sending your kid to Australia or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what do you think you're going to achieve? What are you trying to prove kind of thing, right? My dad being one of those, you know. So it was one of those situations where like, I couldn't afford to fail.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I've got to hustle. So here's a crazy story. So my first job. So I had a friend, right, who's just randomly applying for like jobs, right? So she applied for a job at an Indian restaurant, and she didn't want to go by herself, right? So she came to my flat, and she's like, dude, can you accompany me to my interview? I was like, yeah, sure. I got nothing to do. Let's go. So we went. We got there. She's being interviewed, and I'm just in the vicinity, just looking at the notice board.
Yeah.
And then when he finished interviewing her, the owner, he asked to speak to me. So when I sat down, and he's like to me, he's like, by the way, I'm super green at this stage, right?
Yeah.
Like super church buoyed up, like Jesus to the fullest, right? I don't know anything about the world. I don't listen to secular music. I'm all gospel,
wow.
like gospel, rap, gospel, everything, right?
Wow.
So he's sitting me down, and he's like, okay, cool. He obviously was interviewing me to be a waiter, right? So you obviously, to be a waiter, you got to be engaging, know how to speak to people, know what's happening, be able to take instruction, multitask, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I'm just like one track minded Jesus. That's all I knew, And I was like, if I forsake the Lord, I might just get deported. Like, so I just had a healthy fear. So he's interviewing me, and then he's like, do you follow any sport? Nope. Okay. Do you go out clubbing? Nope. Okay, what kind of clothes do you like? Just clothes. Like, it was just a boring, straightforward interview. And then afterwards, he said to me, would you like a job? I'm just like, this is crazy. This is bizarre. I was like, actually, I need one.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And he's like, okay, cool. I'll give you a call on Friday. It would have been like a Wednesday, and you can start on Friday. So I leave the restaurant with my friend. I'm just like, high five, girl, we did this, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, did what? I was like, got the job. And she's like, I didn't get the job.
Damn.
Right? So that's how it started. So got this job, and then whilst I was working there, a Sri Lankan family, it's Indian restaurant, so anyway, a Sri Lankan family that often eats there came through, sat down, had their meal. We started talking, whatever, and they were like, yo, man, you'd be really good mentor for our kid. What's your story? So I told them, like, yeah, like I'm trying to pay my way through uni as an international student and not get deported. And she's like, look, I've got connects at, back in the day, it used to be called Burswood, the casino.
Yeah.
I think it's called Crown now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, and she's like, I got connections in housekeeping and stuff. Like, they pay really well as well. So you could possibly hustle that job and see how you go. So she connected me with that person there. So I got like crazy shifts at Burswood, which helped a lot with the Indian restaurant. And then they'd allow me to hang with their kid as well.
Wow.
And then they'd buy me groceries and stuff like that, like in exchange, so like it was a good ecosystem happening, like so that helped heaps. And then like I'd get a little money on the side for tutoring the odd student here and there, but nothing too serious. So, and then I was also a residential assistant on campus, so that was like sick. So I had like these multiple streams of income, but it still wasn't enough. But it was enough to sort of keep me going. But then through that, like there was a lot of like, my enrollment got cancelled 5 times. So because I was behind in my school fees and paying that, because I was a full-time student and like a full-time worker at the same time. And I know for a fact, like when a university cancels your enrollment and you're an international student, they have to report you to immigration and you're supposed to be deported. My enrollments officer, like because I was living on campus, so at least I was paying my rent on time, right? And my grades were decent. And it's like, compared to a lot of kids that have got it easy, I can tell like your heart's in the right place and you're determined and you're pretty diligent. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to report you to immigration, right? Shout out to Ian Gell, man, at Murdoch University, man. You're a good man. God bless you,
Shout
boss.
out.
I'm gonna come see you real soon. And it worked out thanks to you, man. God bless you, brother.
Crazy.
So
Damn.
So he would have to cancel my enrollments. I wouldn't have access to my course materials. And I couldn't attend like classes and stuff. I couldn't sit exams and stuff. But then I could like get notes from friends and do assignments and stuff and hand them in. But the lecturers wouldn't be allowed. They weren't allowed to mark them and put any grades up or whatever. But I always told them, just hold on to my paper because I'm going to pay my school fees. And when I pay it, I can't afford to repeat. So please just hold on to it or whatever. And man, that was like crazy. So that happened so many times, right? And what that can do to you depression wise and just stress wise or whatever. Like I went to like a deep depression, like suicidal. And the thing is like, it was that shame thing again. Because I'm around all these kids who've got a lot of parents paying for them and wealthy kids, right? And I didn't want to be known as the poor kid that was struggling or whatever. So I'm trying to maintain this whole like chill, I'm cool, I'm good image, and like friends are going out clubbing, all that kind of. I want to do that stuff. Guys are having relationships with girls and all that stuff. I want to do all that stuff, but I couldn't even let people get too close because they'd know too much and I'd feel too exposed. And plus, you're only allowed to work 20 hours a week as an international student.
That was the rule.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
That's what brother had to,
Okay.
hustle. So, so in doing all of that, like it was just weighty, right? And what helped was the music because I couldn't afford therapy. Mental health wasn't a thing back then. Right? So I didn't know what I was going through. I just knew like I wanted to die and I was so exhausted. I just wanted to rest. And I thought by killing myself, that'll be the way to kind of do it, right? And like there's something about depression and about even suicide, right? Where like people who haven't gone through it don't may not fully appreciate that. Like when you get to that point, firstly, you don't will yourself into that in most cases, right? But once you're there, it's such a non-descriptive sort of sense of being. Like it's all you can see is just the end. Like you just want to get out of it, but you're numb to like just your normal cognitive functioning, like the way you normally would think rationally. You're just not that same person. And I was heavy in the church at the time or whatever, right? But even then God couldn't reach me, you know what I'm saying? Like I just couldn't connect. I just had this internalized anger, and it was just like it was bad. I was just in a really bad place. So the music was therapy because I didn't have any beats or anything like that, but I would write poems to God or to myself, you know? And I think that was my way of trying to sort of unpack what had happened to me, unpack what had happened in my life and all that kind of stuff. And for me to just see it on a piece of paper, you know? And just be like, okay. And weirdly enough, it turned into some sort of gift or talent. And you know, I sharpened it, you know, along the way or whatever. So met someone, he's called Mash, he's my mentor, and he introduced me to a guy who lived called Sunny, who owned a studio like across the road from uni. And he's like, listen, man, you need to plug in with this guy. I auditioned for him, and he's like, yo, you're nice. Okay, cool. You can come use the studio for free whenever you need to. And then so that was like a lifeline for me. Started recording songs, and then started doing youth groups and stuff like that, performing in youth groups and all that. And then there's one youth leader. Now this towards like maybe third, fourth year of uni. Yeah, so he was based in Perth. He's called Pastor Cam, and he got a job at a Baptist church in Sydney, right, for the youth group there, right? Now here's what's crazy, and this is just showing you like this is not. I was just present, and just God did His thing in my. He's been
paved the way,
in my life, man. I'm telling you, like facts. So like I'm like. So when he booked me to do a gig, right, for his youth group, he said he's gonna pay me like $200, right? He never paid me that money, and I was like, man, that cut me. And you know, like when you're on that 2-minute noodle diet, like I was on it, like literally, goreng for life. I want to see those packs ever again. But like every cent matters, man. Like I even remember when XPM Rudd gave us all that stimulus package. You guys may not have been in Australia around there, but it's during the GFC period, and like you'd mysteriously like find like $700 in your bank account, you know, just to feed the economy and help people like purchase stuff. Whatever. Like things like that helped me like get through. But that $200 that like he didn't pay me really like affected me. But he always said like one day, man, you know, I'll make it right. So when he moved to Sydney, he booked me for a gig, and I was like, here we go again. But I was excited because he's going to pay for the flights. And accommodation and food. And I'd never been to Sydney before. So I was like, all right, let's go. So I went. So whilst I'm performing for the youth group and sharing my story and the rest of it, he's like, so the senior pastor forgot his church notes, for his sermon notes for the Sunday. So he had to walk through the auditorium where I was performing, right? To get to his office. So as I'm performing, doing my thing, he stops, right? And he's kind of intrigued, and he like waits for a bit, whatever. And then he says to Pastor Cam, like, who's this? Is that the kid you got from Perth to come and perform? He's like, yeah, that's him. He's like, he's really good. I actually might just free up the Sunday service and let him do what he's doing, like for the main service. I was like, solid, man, cool. I had CDs to sell, you know, back in the I don't know anything about CDs. But yeah, so I was like, cool, awesome. So on the Sunday, got up on the pulpit and everything, preached, did my thing, performed. Then at the end, I was selling CDs. Then this elderly gentleman comes up to me, right? And he's wearing regular T-shirt, like semi-torn, you know, shorts, just super chill, right? Like you wouldn't think too much about, you know, his situation, right? And so I'm just engaging with him like I would anyone else. I'm thinking, yo, you better buy a CD, bros. You know what I'm saying? Like, people out here waiting. And then he's asking me all these questions about like, so you're studying law? Would you ever consider like practicing, you know, over east, you know, here in Sydney? I was like, yeah, man, like if I don't get deported and if I finish my degrees, for sure. Man, like, yeah. And he's like, okay. here's my business card. I own a law firm.
Wow.
I'm guaranteeing you a job the moment you finish uni.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
Jeez.
Jesus wept.
Damn.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's crazy, right?
can
So I
relate.
was just like, so I always say
Yeah.
to people, like, my first interview for a job happened whilst I was fulfilling my vocation, like the thing that God called me to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I was literally like on stage doing what I felt God called me to do, which is, yes, spread the word or whatever, but being consistent and faithful and disciplined and diligent
Yeah.
with the skill set that he's given me.
Yeah.
And it opened someone else's perspective to say, I could use a
This-
talent like that
yeah.
in my world.
Yeah.
And then that's literally how I got my foot in the door into law. And man, the rest is history, man, like after that. So it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah.
But that's like God in full effect. And I want to be as transparent and as honest as possible to be like,
Yeah.
you know, like there's things, yes, I know I'm capable of, right? But I think why the story is important is because it's about everything but me. Like you can literally
Yeah.
see God like
God's
full
hands
effect.
just yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty
favor.
crazy.
His favor, man, is
Yeah,
That's right.
crazy.
his flavor, you know.
That's wild, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's kinda
Thanks for
speechless, man.
sharing that. Yeah.
You answered like all my questions in my head.
Oh, real?
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
No, that's
Nah,
really
man.
cool.
Yeah. Like so that's why, like, you know, you get to a point where like it's actually like a big relief, man, like not to have like ego. Like, don't get me wrong, like I've had moments where I've been like, I'm the man. And he's quick to humble me, like in those situations and stuff,
Yeah.
right? But then there is such a beauty in letting go of like that and understanding that like someone else is actually pulling the strings. There's
Yeah.
a Geppetto running this Pinocchio.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just relieves a lot of pressure. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing like when I'm on stage. Like, man, like it's not normal.
Yeah.
Like to get on a stage and control people or masses, right? Like this conversation is difficult. I get nervous even just doing this, right? Now you can only imagine like trying to like manage or pretty much you're a bouncer on a stage that happens to have a microphone. So you're doing crowd control pretty much, right?
Wow.
And having like the authority and the command for people to follow and do whatever you tell them to do. It's
Yeah.
such a unique skill set, right?
Yeah.
And I always say I live by two rules, right? Like one, when you're on stage, always respect the stage. So always give your best. Always be prepared.
Yeah.
You know, when you give stuff. So you're responsible with whatever your gift is gonna
Yeah.
promulgate, right? But
Yeah.
secondly, you're always at the mercy of your audience. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how good you are. I've done some shows where I'm just like, yo, I'm the nicest rapper like here. Like it's a fact. It's not disputed.
Yeah.
This is what it is. We all know this. We all know this. Even the people who don't want to know this. And I've come up short, sorry. Not even being the person that's engaged the crowd the most. And I've learned from those situations where it's like, you need to learn how to adjust. And I've applied the same
Adapt.
thing to life. Yeah, just adjust, adapt. Like there's things that you may think you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But then you've got to have that scope and that perspective to be to have that elasticity. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And not just be one track minded and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know?
That's right. Be like water, right? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce Leezy.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cheesy and easy. Like tizzles.
Wow, dude. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, yeah, I think I'm with Jared as well. I'm speechless, but I can relate with that God's favor. And yeah, man, when it's just miracles over miracles over miracles, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It is what it is.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and look, another
Yeah.
thing, like a really big thing is like my mom, man. Like that's where it's like it really starts for me
Yeah.
because if I didn't see a woman in a patriarchal society against all odds, like she had options to give up. And
Yeah.
no one would have blamed her for it. Do you know what I mean? And she said, I'm not going to give up on my children. I don't care. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and I remember like the day when my dad's story broke was a Sunday. And my mom, I remember her saying, you're going to go to school tomorrow. I don't care. You're going to have to face those demons. You're going to school. You know, like
Yeah.
all these little lessons like that and big lessons that she
Yeah.
taught me have equipped me resilience-wise even
Yeah.
over here. So even when I went through some degree of adversity or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was like, but how does this measure up to what mom went through?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what am I crying about? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm built for this.
Yeah.
I'm built different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Plus, I've got God like holding me down. Like, I'm not here by mistake. And the one thing that also helped was like, I was like, this is not my plan. Like, this
Yeah.
is you, God. Like, if this falls through, this is you.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot take full responsibility for some of this. It's beyond me. And I can
Yeah.
I can feel the weight of it. Like,
Yeah.
this is not Simba.
Yeah.
Simba's a tiny little piece in this massive thing that you've
Yeah.
concocted. Like, so God, be God. Like, show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it
And-
hasn't stopped to this day. To this day.
Come on.
You know? So it's
So
really
good, guys. I'm like,
Nah,
damn.
thank you. You guys are
Amazing.
solid. Like,
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing, dude. It's
Shout outs to you.
crazy.
thanks, bro.
I wanted to ask you though, with where you're at right now in life and with
Yeah.
still doing law, still
Yeah.
rapping.
Yeah, man.
Is that always going to be the thing? Like they're just going to coexist, or are you going to choose one over the other?
My boss better not be watching this. Nah, man. Like, what's up, Danny? Shout out to you, bros. Listen. So for me, right, like, here's a very interesting thing. I feel both careers, they coexist, parallel to each other, right? In my life, and people always say, look, lawyer by day, rapper by night. Like, that's confusing, like, how is that even like a thing? And I'm like, you'd be surprised how many crossover attributes that complement each other within both professions. People
Yeah.
are like what? So for example, to be a lawyer, you've got to be passionate about communicating, right?
Yeah.
Because that is our job, right?
Yeah.
To communicate
Yeah.
advice, information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within a specific scope or area or
Yeah.
expertise, right? As an artist, I'm on stage communicating music, communicating vibes,
Yeah.
communicating energy,
Emotions.
That's
right?
Yeah.
Okay, 2, you've got to be down with language. You've got to like words. You've got to
Yeah.
have some affinity or some,
Yeah.
astute ability to be able to use words,
Yeah.
language, right? Same thing with when I rap. It's bars. It's about language, right?
Yeah.
And what's even crazy about law as well is like, we're in the business of persuasion. When I'm on
Wow.
stage, I'm in the business of persuading the crowd to vibe with me,
Yeah.
to vibe with my music.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and both careers also intrinsically have an element of psychology in them as well.
Yeah.
To be able to read situations, angles, perspectives. I'm reading crowds, I'm reading faces to be like, that's not working with that side of the
Yeah.
audience. Okay, flip it, change it to this or whatever. So
Yeah.
you're constantly adapting and adjusting and all those kinds
Yeah.
of things, right? So they're both gonna exist together, but ultimately I want to get into politics. I want to be president of my country one day. So that's essentially where we're headed.
So that's still the goal.
100%.
That's awesome, man.
That's
I
so
love
awesome.
how through all these years you have not wavered from the main goal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Respect, man.
That's crazy.
It's about service at the end of the day, man.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
like it's there is a point in life, man, and I always talk about it with my guys, Smash, Danny, Fuds, like there is a level of success you can reach where it doesn't feel like it did when you first got there. And when you get to that point, especially when you're relatively young, you still have a lot in you.
Yeah.
Like your life can be really, really hollow. Have you ever wondered why, like, certain people who are extremely wealthy but are so depressed, so sad, so young, will go commit suicide? And you're like, but you've got everything. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because they would have achieved a certain part of their lives with respect to purpose
Yeah.
and vocation, and then nothing else after that.
Yeah.
And once you've sort of peaked without purpose, like, life is just, you're better off being poor because you've got something to work towards, right?
Yeah.
But if you've ticked all the boxes, it's like having Netflix and having watched everything,
Yeah.
Wow.
and you don't have Stan as an option.
Yeah.
You don't have Foxtel as an option.
Yeah.
You don't have the movies or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for us, it's the same thing. Like, that's how we collectively, even as guys, like we view success, like, yes, there's a point we've got up to and we've enjoyed it and we appreciate it. But then there is a calling, a higher calling to now serve people.
Yeah.
You know, the difference between having a millionaire mindset and a billionaire mindset is a millionaire knows how to make themselves a millionaire. A billionaire knows how to make millionaires.
Damn.
Right? So we out here like trying to just pass on whatever we've accumulated over time and deposit it into others to make them good. And I even want the next generation, we want the next generation to be better than us. That's how it's supposed to be. You guys supposed to be better than me.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it would be a tragedy, a serious travesty if this became the standard of excellence. Like, that's sad. Like, we've got to evolve, we've got to grow.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys for doing what you're doing. Like, this is
Thank you.
crazy.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
This
you.
is your guys' idea. Like, yo, Simba, come sit down. You know, get this old man to sit down, ask questions, an interrogation. The lights are on and everything. You know, have me behaving myself, not even cussing, nothing. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. But you guys, you know, like, you're doing well. Like, and even like, and not just like, I love how like you're evangelists, like the way you serve the body, like, of Christ. Like, it's not necessarily just
Inside the walls.
Yeah, man. Like,
That's
it's
right,
like
it's beyond
you're
that.
out here
Yeah.
in the streets, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Interviewing rappers and stuff, you know, in like NASA overalls and all that. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, and but you don't know what you're doing and like how it's gonna impact somebody, how it's gonna change someone's life, change someone's perspective. And if you look at my life, it only took one person to change my entire life trajectory.
Yeah.
My mom was one, right?
Yeah.
My friend who took me with her to the interview, that's one person,
Damn.
right? That
Yeah.
opened the door for me to
Yeah.
have access to jobs
Yeah.
and stuff. That one pastor who said, come to Sydney,
Yeah.
right place, right time, right? That one dude who happened to be in the congregation who's like, here's my business card, here's a job.
I'm having this visual of
You get what I'm
just like,
saying? Like, we all
bruh.
think like the stars have to be aligned.
Yeah.
Like, the masses have to be for you, whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, when it's God's plan, it's God's plan. And God just uses one person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yes.
He used Adam.
Just like
one.
warriors, just come
Exactly.
and
Noah,
play different roles in your life.
Yeah,
Just pave the way.
100%. Like, even the Bible is, it's not even about like, it's not even about the supporting cast. If you think about it, right?
Yeah.
You got Adam doing his own thing.
Yeah.
He's a star. Eve doing her own thing. She's a co-star, but a star in her own right. Okay. Noah, it's about Noah, like, he's a star.
Yeah.
Like, God's dealing, he's using one person to get the work done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I you know, Isaac, Jacob, whatever.
Yeah.
He's using one person. Samson, one person to correct a generation that's lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jesus, one person
Yeah.
getting the job done. So you're that one person. You're that one person. I'm that one person. It doesn't have to be collective. Like, people will naturally follow,
Yeah.
you know, but they just need the one. The wise men followed
Wow.
one star.
Damn.
They didn't need like a constellation of stars in one direction.
Yeah.
It's just one joint.
That's right.
It's one joint. You need one phone
Wow.
to contact how many people?
Wow.
Bars.
Bars. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was fire.
Damn.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Wow. I'm
like that,
having
right?
this like
Yeah, I
just
need
like
to write that
mind
down.
blown.
If anyone, I swear, man, you
Yeah.
still, this is already copywritten, by the way. You know? So please don't use that bar. That's me.
So good. So
Wow.
good.
You've shared
Yeah.
so much with us today.
Yeah.
I mean, the best interviews is where you do all the talking for
Yeah.
us.
It's just like, yeah.
I think I talk too much.
No.
It's all about
No.
you today, man.
Yeah.
And just you sharing your story. You've already added value to our lives for sure.
Yes, for sure.
So, yeah, thank you very much.
It's symbiotic, man. Symbiotic.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it goes
yeah.
both ways, man. Like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
I've learned heaps from both of you, and I've learned that you are already an elevation or an evolution of what I was at your age, because I wasn't doing this. We weren't doing this.
Right.
We had a different way of trying to do what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the reach that you guys have, the initiative, the skill set. I mean, like, I'm still typing with my index fingers, yo. It's real out here.
Sometimes, you know, you're feeling fancy, you know.
You know?
Wow.
Nah, it's been a blessing. You guys are real. you know?
Wow.
And stay real, stay authentic, man. Like,
Yeah.
like perfect doesn't exist. It's overrated. Like, the only one to ever do it is JC, Jesus himself,
That's
right?
right.
And we're cheap imitations of that great original.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so even when you're young, like you go through adversity or whatever it is, you mess up, you screw up or whatever, like
Yeah.
just know there's tomorrow, there's the next day.
Yeah.
No, God, if God can forgive you, you should have the courage to forgive yourself.
Mm.
That's
I'm still
good.
screwing up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At my age right now.
Mm.
But God's just been so faithful, like, you know, like he's just like the whole way through, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm still discovering who I am identity wise, but I'm so authentic in my process.
Yeah. That's so
I've
good.
learned that as I've grown older, like
Yeah.
it's okay to not be okay. If anything, that
Yeah.
adds more character,
Yeah.
you know, and it sharpens you as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so
And it helps the people around you as well who
Yeah,
like
you're
have to
relatable.
feel like, you know, they have to suppress all these feelings and the fact that you are authentic and okay not to be okay.
facts.
It allows people to actually, you know,
Yeah. And
be
you're relatable.
vulnerable.
You're relatable, man. Like
Yeah.
there's like, do you know what? Like it's crazy because like even if you think of someone like even Jesus, right? Let's use him as an example.
Yeah.
Like that dude was like the coolest, dopest dude ever, right?
Yeah.
For him to even carry a cross that size, he would have had to be like a bodybuilder-esque type
Oh,
of dude, right?
100%.
And you know
Yeah.
Jesus was
Yeah.
black because he was cool. So we already know what it is. It's facts. I don't know what they're painting and all that, but I'm telling you for a fact that homie was not pale. Maybe his palms were like mine, but that boy was cool, right? And if you think about it, like, okay, so Simon, like, he was like the most like ratchet of homies, like, okay, cussing out everything. No one could tame that
Yeah,
homie,
just-
right?
Yeah.
And like for that dude, like that's kind of like that's like you rocking up and like I don't know, freaking Tupac and 50 Cent like following you, like no, you the man. Like that's pretty much like JC status, like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you've like, but then to be that, I'm sorry, but you cannot be like a goody two shoes because
Yeah.
they come from a world and have a worldview
Yeah.
that cannot interpret that visual, right?
Yeah.
Aesthetically, you know, it's associated with everything anti what they
Yeah.
know to be good, right?
Yeah.
Or to work for them,
Yeah.
right? And like so Jesus had to like code switch and exist in so many different realms
Yeah.
to attract even just those apostles
Yeah.
and for them to be so loyal that like they rocked with him till the end.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is like crazy. Like, so if
Yeah.
you think about it, like even as a believer, like if Jesus was not an authentic, he was breaking rules. Like the Pharisees, he was not popular amongst the Pharisees, right? Because he was doing everything. They're saying like, yo, homie, you can't do that. You're messing our money up. Nah, don't do that, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember the woman who committed adultery?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're ready to stone her?
That's right. That's
And
the
Jesus
one, yeah.
like put a line in the sand and said like, he without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah.
Let's see. Come through. Let's see. You know what I'm saying? Hanging at the well with the woman that, you know, had been married. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
Yeah.
that homie was not Zacchaeus was like, yo, homie, come eat with me.
Yeah.
It's like, but dude, you're stealing from people.
Yeah.
He didn't even like, he's just like, okay, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go
let's
break bread.
chill.
If you think about
Yeah.
it, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's, you know, but Lecrae, the rapper, shout out to Lecrae, did say something though, like, even as believers, right? Like, even when we plug ourselves into like that secular realm
Yeah.
or that world realm, right? Even though we may have the best of intentions and be like, oh, but Jesus hung around sinners. Yeah, we all sinners, don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you've also got to be equipped because
Yeah,
once
agreed.
Jesus did hang with them,
Yeah.
they changed around him.
True.
They
Yeah.
changed because
Yeah.
of him, right?
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to work the other way around. So
Yeah.
you've also kind of got to be responsible with that kind of like,
Yeah.
but it's stuff you're going to learn through life, through mistakes,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Agreed.
Obviously learn from those who've gone before you and try to avoid where they
Yeah.
went wrong. But you're going to make mistakes. You're supposed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
actually are supposed to make mistakes.
That's right.
You know, and the more mistakes you make, the closer you are to the right answer. So
Mm.
you're literally getting that stuff out of the way because they're teachable moments if you're willing to receive the
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like, yeah, you have to be rooted. And I feel like it's so important to really be rooted and be planted and really internalizing your identity when you go out there, you know? And yeah, man, we all make mistakes. Gotta agree with that. And yeah, like, yeah.
You live, you
It's
learn, you
just-
get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're supposed to. you're supposed to make mistakes. I repeat, you are supposed to make mistakes.
Wow.
And you're supposed to use them as opportunities to learn
Yeah.
and be teachable
Yeah.
through that process.
Yeah.
And like you rightly said, be better, elevate,
Yeah.
evolve, adjust, adapt.
Yeah.
Just don't stay there and try not to repeat the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
will repeat certain mistakes, but you are supposed to make mistakes. Like, it's the process.
Yeah. I guess my question for you now is like, when you've made mistakes in the past, let's say, like how, like, and then you mentioned a lot about like shame, and all that.
Yeah.
Like, what made you, or what helped you to, actually get outside that darkness? Because, shame is it's a very dark place to be. And like, who helps you, or what helps you to come out from that shame bubble?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, it's perspective, right? So it's making more mistakes that were bigger than the last ones that give you perspective sometimes about how relatively small that thing that you made so big was, right? So for instance, there's sometimes where I've had friends that have shown up for me and have not judged me and have accepted me with all my
you
mistakes,
are.
all
Yeah.
my, as well as the glorious things that I
Yeah.
may, embody, right, or personify.
Yeah.
But they've walked with me, they've held my hand
Yeah.
through those shameful things, what I
Yeah.
mean? And that has given me courage and given me perspective in terms of my value to them, my value to community, my value to society.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the worst thing you can do is go through that shame and internalize it and try to self-psychologize yourself
Yeah.
in that state. You're
Yeah.
only going to go deeper and deeper into that dark
Spiral.
realm, and you're
Yeah.
going to get to a place where no one can reach you.
Yeah.
Right? And you never want to have that. So it's good to communicate with trusted people,
Yeah.
Just the other day, for instance, I saw this amazing the gentleman who kind of gave this perspective, and he said, the video game Call of Duty, right? So it's all arms and all that, right? Like guns and all that. And there's moments where like you need to reload, and in those moments, you say you say cover me, right, to somebody, right? So they
Yeah.
cover you whilst you're reloading, right?
Yeah.
And it's like in life, you've got to have people that are gonna
Cover
cover you,
100%.
because we're all
get
gonna
that.
go through
So
seasons
good.
where we gotta reload.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
and,
right.
And when
Wow.
you say cover me, you're saying to that trusted person, if you don't cover me whilst I'm trying to reload, I may
Gonna
not
die.
make it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
So I need
Wow.
you to cover me.
Yeah.
And cover me sometimes means a friend listening to you. Cover me may mean you talking to God. Cover me may mean you going for a walk. Cover me may mean you in the studio writing raps.
Yeah.
Cover me may mean you resting,
Yeah.
The other day, once again, like I came across this thing where like someone said when you are depressed, it just means your body needs deep rest.
Wow.
Bars, right?
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
Because everything just shuts down,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And your body's like, we need to recalibrate. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, and you just shut down. That's really what
Yeah.
happens when you're depressed, right?
Yeah.
But in those seasons, you cannot trust yourself
Yeah.
to walk yourself through the fire, through the smoke. It's foggy. You
Yeah.
don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Your vision impaired,
Yeah.
and you're vulnerable. So those people that were there for me and still are, like I've gone through something recently, like which has been like so traumatic for me, right? And I just been like, yo, this is nuts. Like I never thought I'd be that guy in that situation, right? I'm going through a divorce right now, right? And I was like, man, like I'm that Christian guy. Like I never thought like I'd be that person to like
Yeah.
go through all that, right? And that even forced me not only just to be humble, but just to reassess just my identity. Be like, but dude, for real, who are you? Have you been playing a role all these years, right? Because like
That's
we need to
deep,
check
bro.
in. Yeah, we need to check in with who the hell you are. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
we need to be real about that. And we need to emerge out of this circumstance,
Yeah.
not better, but you. We need
Yeah.
to come out as you.
Yeah.
You don't come out as a better version of what you were. We need to come out as you.
Yeah.
And this is a teachable moment that could change the trajectory of your life,
Yeah.
generations, children, your children's children, or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not even a season about fault or about blame, about what your dad did, what your mom didn't
Yeah.
do, what you didn't grow up having, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's now about you emerging the way you need to emerge.
Wow.
Now let's deal with that. Let's start there.
Wow.
This is not anyone else's issue, anyone else's problem. Let's deal with you.
Yeah.
And okay, so where do we want to go from here? And how do you want to come out of this? Do you truly want to
Wow.
be free? Do you want to be free from religion and all these things, dogmatic policies, protocols, procedures that
Boxes.
we were built into or plugged into from birth,
Yeah.
and then never got plugged out of or never adjusted? Or are we going to really figure this thing out? Because are we going to be, and that's like, I want to be as authentic a human being
Yeah.
as possible. And
Yeah.
if that then leads people to God, that's not
Yeah.
like, there is shame in the process.
Yeah.
But then once you get to a certain point, you're in a position to speak from a position of strength.
I
And
love
you,
that.
You need to empower people. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm standing here today. You may not see my scars, but there's a lot of them, internal ones.
Yeah.
But look at how strong this dude is right now. Look at how happy he is right now with everything he's gone through.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so there is that other side,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm going to keep making mistakes.
Yeah.
God forbid, like, I make things that affect other people and myself, whatever. But I've given myself that leeway, but it has made me now. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm operating in a different level of freedom, of, you know, just
Yeah.
I'm rolling somewhere. Like, the momentum is it's
Yeah.
unique. It's different.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can really feel
I
it.
guess when you just own your story, own your scars, and show up as you are,
Yes. Yeah.
you reach out, to people you never thought you would reach out,
Yeah.
and like people who actually need to hear this story,
Yeah.
because there is a power in story. I do believe in that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Facts. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Sorry, we're just
You
like,
guys
we're just.
No.
you have to do ad-libs for the studio. Yeah, I gotta do double. all the
Oh
time.
my
It's
gosh.
tough. You guys
We
need to
could.
Oh my
synchronize, like, that's vibes, like,
No. Wow.
Thank you for being so vulnerable with us.
Yeah, I'm
with all these
just-
people you don't know that are gonna watch this. You
it's
know?
cool,
Yeah.
man. It's cool.
I appreciate
You
that.
guys deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Right?
Yeah.
And look, there's so many things that I wish, like, older people
Yeah.
or people with more experience or seasoned Christian or seasoned non-Christian
Yeah.
could have
Agreed.
told me about how to navigate through life. That could have maybe
Yeah.
given me some insight or some perspective before making dumb mistakes and doing
Yeah.
dumb shit. Yes,
Yeah.
I said shit. Dumb shit. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Agreed.
so it's important. Like, it'll be so selfish
yeah.
for me to go through that and
And
rely on
not
the help
sharing
of
it.
other people.
Yeah.
Right? And then not pay it forward
Yeah.
and help other people.
You guessed it. Technical difficulties. That's right. But I hope that you guys are enjoying the episode so far. And since we're here, why don't you go and follow Simba on Instagram and like and follow us too if you don't already. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Anchor. Now, back to the episode. Now we're back.
And we're back.
Now we are back.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Nah, we just, like, I guess the most important thing is when you go through all of these things, right, without perspective, and you're like one track minded, one vision, one experience, one way of doing things, right, and you never get to know about what it's like to fail and what failure does to build resilience
Yeah.
and tenacity
Yeah.
and that bounce back effect
Yeah.
and how it can make you better and how you can come back. If you don't hear those stories, you're always going to look at failure as a negative thing. You're associated with something that should be avoided, something that shouldn't be done,
Yeah.
something that you should be ashamed of, right? But like, if I didn't see what my dad went through, right, I could have been susceptible or vulnerable to being that version of him, or if not worse, because I got to see that failure and
See the
took it on
result
as a-
of it as
yeah,
well.
as a teachable lesson. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then for me, with my circumstances and stuff, it's like I've got good brothers, man, that
Yeah.
love me.
Yeah.
You know, that don't care if I rap nice, that don't care if I'm a lawyer, that don't care if I've got nice clothes or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they love me.
For who
I got
you are.
sisters that love me, right? And they care, they give a damn about Simba. You know?
Yeah.
Not a version of me when it's time to be glorious or whatever.
Yeah.
So even going through like the divorce, for example, like the last people I thought to show up for me actually showed up, and a lot of the people I expected to show up didn't. Right? And for whatever reason, right? It could have been, oops, okay, we don't want to be associated with this guy for whatever reason or whatever. But like, I salute the guys that were like, I'm going to stand with this guy because I know this guy. You know, I'm not going to judge him through any version of failure or any misconception of what he could be or should be.
Yeah.
I know this man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, I got my guys like Danny's like, I know this man. I got my guys like Mash, like, I know this man. I got my boy like Fuds. Yo, Fuds is like, yo, I know this man. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's those things that reminded me that I am that dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am that guy. Like, I am that guy that's got purpose. God's not done with me. Like, we've got work to do.
Yeah.
Like, the reason I'm still here, still standing is because there's work to be done.
Come
There's
on.
goals to be achieved. And
Yeah.
like you said, that trajectory, that plan from way back then, that's why it hasn't wavered. It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yeah.
and I will look back at these things, and it's amazing. Like, you want to have people that make it to the top and have gone through stuff.
Yeah. The
'Cause then
valleys.
then you'll
Yeah.
be like, okay, then I could do this.
Yeah.
I could. So you mean what? They failed that? They didn't do in
Yeah.
uni? They didn't what? They didn't what? They didn't come from money? They what? And what? And they're the wealthiest. What? How? What?
Yeah.
Whoa, they're healthy. What? They couldn't have kids?
Yeah.
They didn't have kids? And then what? They had their first kid when they were 40? What? How? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you just never know, like, which season of life you're going to need to tap into those
Yeah. Come on.
experiences,
Yeah.
right? And these stories need to be shared. People need to have access to mentors, that these coverers, I call
Yeah.
them, you know, who whilst you're reloading,
Yeah.
you
I
know what I'm
love
saying?
that.
They're not allowing for you to be attacked.
Yeah.
Even though there is an onslaught of bullets, ammunition coming your way,
Hmm.
you are covered. They're putting themselves on the line
Damn.
to take the blows for you,
Yeah.
right? Because they know that, look, this one, out of all of us, he's the one that's got to make it.
Yeah.
If it means we go down, okay, so be it.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
this one's got to make it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? And I've got
So good.
I've got my guys like that. Like, I feel it in my core. Like, do you know what I mean? And those
Yeah.
are the people, even for me, I'll be like, you need my arm? Cool.
Yeah.
Anything happens to you, your kids, I got you. Like, do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
your family, I've got you. Like, it's that kind of brotherhood where
Yeah.
it transcends,
Yeah.
God forbid, but even like the faith, so to speak, like
Yeah.
within a religious, institutional sort of like scope. It's like, you know, like, these are like guys who are just like, Jesus or not, I will fight for you.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go there
Yeah.
if we need to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow.
We all need people like that in our
So
lives.
good. Yes. We
You
all
need
need
to check
them.
your list of people in your life, and you go
Yeah.
like, can they do that for you?
Yeah.
And can you
Yeah.
do that for them?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
Yeah.
wow.
You know, and those relationships are forged out of tension, stress, failure, challenges,
Yeah.
peaks, valleys,
Yeah.
the backs and forths, whatever. As
Yeah.
you're sharpening each other, getting to know each other, they
Yeah.
don't just happen.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because
Come on.
they are those places where you go to where they've got to really weigh up what they've got to lose by aligning themselves with you.
Yeah.
And it's a big risk for them, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to be worth it. How are they going to know you're worth it? Because of what you've been through together and come out of together. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Done some battles.
you
Yeah.
gotta,
In the fire.
facts.
Yeah.
Facts. You have
Wow.
to. It's so necessary.
Gosh. This is so good, guys. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
a lot. There's a lot.
it's a lot to
there's a
like
lot to-
unpack and digest.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, Simon, we don't want to keep you captive here all night, right?
Yeah.
But I would like to
So
ask
please.
more about a bit of your rapping and stuff. Where can
Yes,
the
sir.
people find you? Like,
Handles.
Oh, I'm incognito. Incognito. Well, Instagram. So Instagram, it's Simba Mak. So ITSSIMBAMAK.
we'll put it up. Yeah,
We'll put it up.
Please
we
do
will.
that.
We will.
It's so necessary. Facebook, Facebook would be Simba Mak, so SIMBA space MAK. That's where you're gonna find me in the meantime. I actually haven't released any music yet, which is wild.
Are you working on something at the moment?
I've got music. I've just got like this perfectionist like mindset where I'm just
Imposter syndrome.
no, I can spit bars. I'm dope. I'm arguably the nicest out.
Oh, we heard you on Sunday. I
Yeah.
mean, he stands true.
I mean,
No.
facts. I
Yeah.
mean, how many
Yeah.
rappers
Dude, I was
do you
blown
get
away.
in church like that? Like,
Yeah.
make even the old people just like, I don't usually listen to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like you know when you know. Like,
Yeah.
And that's not even coming from that's like me.
I
like,
almost stood up from my like chair to do this, and I was just
Alright?
like,
And you're like, oh,
to swat
this ain't
the
the club. It's like, this ain't the club. This ain't the club. It's like, girl, behave
Almost.
thyself. You know?
oh my
But
gosh.
twerk all up in the church. Crazy.
we can't have
I've
that.
seen wild things out here. Nah, but yeah, man. Look, I love it. Like, it's definitely like my communication hack skill that God's given me, which is an extension of my personality for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, like there's a difference between a career, like a job, right? Like you go to school for that. You go to university to be trained how to do that. But your vocation, that's different. That's a gift from God.
Yeah.
You can't go to be trained how to do that the way certain people who are actually gifted at doing it do it. But what you can do is you can be born with it and you can sharpen it.
Yeah.
You can go and perfect it. But there's certain things where it's just like, nah, man, they've got it. And you can tell on stage, like when people are on stage that perform, you can just tell like, okay, that person, when people say they're a natural,
Yeah.
in the particular area of work, even as a waiter. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you're just like, that waiter, like, I don't know what they're paying them, but they should be paid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
get
I
you.
mean?
Pay
I get
more.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Winter
Yeah.
Olympics, like
Yeah.
they're like, that's gold medal standard. Like,
Right.
even when you don't have money to tip, you tip it. They're that good.
Yeah.
Or if you've been on an aircraft, and
Yeah.
the flight attendant or whatever it is like the introduction, like, and they like trying to, they're
Yeah.
talking to,
Yeah.
from the cabin crew, wherever they are at or whatever, and they're talking to, people on the plane and stuff. And have you seen like those creative sort of like introductions, like some of them come up with or whatever? And you're just like, this person, they don't just love their job, like they're born to like serve people
Yeah.
in this capacity. Like
Yeah.
they're so good at it. That's kind of me with this rap thing, I think. Like, so, okay.
It's pretty cool.
That is awesome. I mean, if you were to put some time on it, right? When could we expect something like from you, like a release?
Okay,
or-
like 2023 for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
That's pretty soon.
I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I've been sitting on this stuff for a
Yeah.
hot minute. Like, my guys are just like, I'm surprised I actually have like my guys like still like rocking with me and stuff. 'Cause they're like, yeah, they've heard the stuff and like it's beautiful music. Shout outs to Damien, man. I love you, bro. It's like my second dude, like my second me, musically, man. Like, yeah, he's my heart like that, like, And I started this music thing with Fuds, like back in the uni days, and
Wow.
like and you know what's so beautiful, but it's like such an entrepreneurial sort of spirit or
Yeah.
thing that we started with nothing.
From scratch.
Like Fuds wasn't even he started making beats for me so I could have stuff to rap over. You know what I mean? And like now, like we sound like we do, we doing what it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So 2023, you might get something
Okay.
from me.
So you working with these guys that you met from Perth and still working with now?
Yeah. Some
Okay.
of them. Shout outs to Audius as well. He's the big dog. Like he's done stuff with Delta Goodrum, Jessica
Wow.
Malboy.
Okay.
Wow.
Big names.
Big dog, yes. It's Sony for a minute. Like such a humble dude, man. Like that's the big bro. He just believes in me so much, man. Like, and beyond the music, like just as a man, as a brother, like it's like I said, I've got dudes. I've got dudes that transcend this superficial aspect of doing what we do, you know, and you really can go deep,
Yeah.
and they know you for you,
Yeah.
and they constantly encourage you to extract that version of yourself
Yeah.
at every opportunity. You
Wow,
know?
that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's. I'm going to comment on the fact that
Yeah.
you haven't released anything, but you've been rapping for so long, like doing these like on stage performances, and I watched some of your barbershop raps.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
too.
Shout outs to Aloy. My guy.
Yeah.
That's another one. That's a real one
Yeah.
for me. That's carried me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
covered me too. Yes,
Yeah.
that's my barber's. Yo, shout outs to Aloy's studio in Melbourne. Yo, like
Yeah.
illest barber to ever do it.
Can they
Yeah.
cut Asian hair?
Yo, man, he cuts black hair and he's Asian. He's Cambodian.
Okay.
But he was
Wow.
born in France. So
Wow.
he's French Cambodian or Cambodian French.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he cuts African hair better than I've had my hair. And I'm like particular about that.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Shout outs to you, bro.
The video was just like, you should check it out, guys, on Insta.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Well,
it's like
boom,
360.
boom.
I was
Okay, I
just
don't know if I
like,
can do
how,
that, but
yeah,
you know,
how did
put it
you,
up there.
How
Yeah.
did you
That's
do
his
that? I was
giant.
just like,
Nah, it's
man,
industry
there's a skill.
secrets. We're not letting you guys know nothing. It just happens, you know. Nah, but
Yeah.
yeah, that happens at his spot, man. Like, so if you go get a haircut with him and stuff, you know, you talk to him nicely, he might just, you know, hook you up with, you know, the Aloy 360 experience, man.
Wow.
You know, show off your. Man, if you come to Melbourne, you're not really gonna cut your hair, but if you ever do, you know, slide through. You can come for fun though.
Yeah, come for fun. I'll come for fun.
Jair, you gotta come. right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to grow my hair, but we'll see how we go,
Yeah,
you know.
me too. I'm trying to grow mine too.
Okay, all right. Then,
It's
well, if
just
you're
a
still
wig.
getting it cut,
It's
then.
just a wig, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, I'll get one too then. That's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, check that scenario freestyle.
oh yeah.
I like that because that's like one of my top songs, man.
No
I love that
way.
song. Yeah.
That's dope, man. He made me do that because, like,
Oh, real?
I don't really mess with like old school, like that old like hip hop. Like, my favorite genre of all time, weirdly enough, is country music. Right?
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, like
Ooh.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I know.
man.
Yeah, I
No
never
way.
Hashtag me too. Like,
Wow.
like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers.
No, I don't know those names.
That old school, you know, like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Damn.
Wow.
But they're
okay.
the best storytellers.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? And that their music just calms my soul. Like, do
Mm.
you know what I mean? And as far as if I say it's cool, it's cool. Dolly Parton is cool. Like,
All right.
Yeah.
She is cool.
You don't know who Dolly Parton is?
I'm sorry. No.
This generation's hectic.
I'm sorry, man.
I'm out of here.
Google that first. Yeah.
Nah, Dolly's a vibe. Okay, have you heard of Islands in the Stream?
Okay. You know what? If I heard it playing, I might be like,
You probably
I,
know
it.
you know, I think I might know.
Even okay, Jolene.
I'm sorry, man.
Nah, it's cool. Don't worry, man. After this, kind of a
No, I'll educate
kind of a-
myself
kind
after
of a
this.
Dolly Parton experience. Shout out to Dolly Parton, by the way.
Like, so all these like when you're like in the chair and you're rapping, are these all freestyles off the dome, or is it like you've already like
With-
had
yeah.
an idea?
Nah, I got like bars for days in my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm always ready to.
Do you think you can shoot a few bars for us
If you
now?
want, yeah, I could do that.
Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have a beat, so you have to go a cappella.
Acapella, I'm that kind of fella. It's all good.
Let's go.
Would you prefer us to give you an item, or like you just
I'll just spit, man. I could spit about. Actually, you know what?
oh, you know
A,
what?
a synopsis. What?
A synopsis? Or, yeah,
Of,
you go.
or like of my life story.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
quick
that'd be
that
cool.
way.
That'd be cool.
Every time I talk about it, when I want to talk about it, mama told me, Simba, don't do it. If you think you're going to make money doing music, my boy, you got to be stupid. You're a talented kid, but we got mouths to feed, and you got brothers to lead. You're the captain of this family tree, so I had to do what I had to do when I had to do it, but your boy was cool with it. I just did what mama wanted. I just did what daddy couldn't. Got on a plane, headed overseas. By then, I was barely 19. All I had was a couple of dollars, a couple of dreams. You know what I mean? In pursuit of a couple degrees. I prayed till I was weak in the knees, and I did grow. Maybe that's why they call me Negro, please. Homie, I wasn't even a refugee. but I was homesick and seeking refuge. Jeez. Immigration on my case, but I wasn't going to be a deportee. Fluctuating self-esteem nearly crippled me. Mama needed me. That level of stressing led to undiagnosed depression. See, I contemplated suicide. Thank God that I'm still alive. Thanks to a couple of guys living similar lives, and they sympathize with the Simba guys. So I guess they sympathize, and we synthesize, and we came to symbolize greener pastures from the other side of life. So recognize, you're born to strive, conquer and thrive, conquer and thrive.
Woo!
First ever on the Fresh Goods podcast, guys.
Damn.
First ever. I think that's a good way to end, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Thank
end,
you,
indeed.
Simba, for blessing us today.
Now,
Thank you so
bless
much, man.
Bless you.
I'm
Glory
just-
to the Most High, no lie.
Amen.
Come
Amen.
on. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, any last words? The mic is still
Yeah.
yours to speak, man.
I said too much. Make mistakes. Be teachable. Elevate, evolve, adjust, adapt, win, conquer, thrive. Blah. Skirt.
You heard it here. Check him out. Check us out. Like, subscribe,
Yes.
all that.
Yes, yes.
All right, guys. We're signing off right now. This has been Simba Mak, Dinda, and Jara. Stay fresh.
Stay fresh.
Peace.